The Los Angeles Lakers, they actually traded one of their first round picks and they acquired D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt. The Minnesota Timberwolves get Mike Conley, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and 3 second-round picks, and the Utah Jazz get Russell Westbrook, Juan Toscano Anderson, Damian Jones, and one of those coveted Lakers picks in 2027. It is top 4 protected, and will convey. This is from Zach Lowe, that it will convey in 27 will turn into a second-round pick if it is top 4 protected, or if it lands in the top 4. So, DuFour, give me your initial thoughts on this.
Well, I mean, my initial thought is, welcome back to LA, D'Angelo Russell. And this guy, he's got ice in his veins. This is where the legend was born. I mean, I was there watching him at Summer League, just, with all the Lakers fans out there. So, I mean, I really feel a lot of affinity for that former young Lakers team. So that's kind of cool. But hey, for the Lakers, this is a huge upgrade. They add much needed shooting with D'Angelo Russell and Malik Beasley, who's just shooting the lights out. They get a little bit of extra defense to come off the bench, Jared Vanderbilt, which, I mean, man, when they really need to run some defense heavy lineups, they can have him out there with Anthony Davis. It gives them a lot of versatility. I mean, this is a great move. They got 3 guys that ought to be in their rotation, and they got rid of Russell Westbrook and this 2027 pick, and the Russ thing just wasn't working out. I mean, we know that him and Darvin Ham kind of got into it last night. Yep. And it has been a struggle basically since he got there. So for them to, recoup something out of Russ and then, only having to spend this 2027 pick, I think it's big. 3 rotation guys, maybe 2 starters, honestly, for one first round draft pick and a guy that at the worst case scenario was going to walk away this summer because you didn't want him back anyway, but you were able to turn that salary before it leaves your books into some players that you can keep around. And now you've got bird rights. So D'Angelo Russell, when they go to re-sign him this summer, they get to stay over the cap and all those cap machinations that are super important that the Lakers have actually messed up on.
Yeah.
They're in a good spot right now. I mean, I'm loving the pick protection. The fact that they're just saying, you know what, this is 2027 only. Now they still got that 2029 pick. They still got Pat Beverly. They still got Lonnie Walker. So they still have some moves to make and some pieces to make moves with.
Yeah, I do like that they stayed flexible while making a deal to get 3 guys that can play with them now. That's what the Lakers have needed. Because you look up and down the roster and you just look at the box scores night to night and you're like, oh my gosh. Like, look at the guys that are playing for the Lakers. Would they be playing anywhere close to the minutes they are? And it's like, no disrespect to a lot of the guys, but they just wouldn't be playing for other teams. I mean, they picked up, guys that weren't playing for the Wizards that are, I won't name names, but some of those guys are playing 20 plus minutes on their team. They should not be. And these guys, these are just bona fide rotation players. Like, that's a step forward. Is it enough to get them past? Because they're going to have to jump 4 teams to get to the play-in right now. They have to jump the Blazers. They're going to have to jump the Thunder. They're going to have to jump Utah, the team that they made an exchange with here. Can they get there? And does it matter? Like, what if they could have to play New Orleans in the play-in? I mean,
or the Warriors.
Or the Warriors. People are claiming. So here, people are claiming, oh, this saves the Lakers season. That is a bold proclamation. And I guess it's, what does it mean to save the Lakers season? To get them to the play-in? Is that saving the season? I'm not so sure. Like, get me to the playoffs.
Right.
Get me to the playoffs. If that would, to me, save their season. Give me a 7-game series. If they can get there, which it's not impossible, but I'm not ready to claim that. It's not like they acquired, they acquired their 4th, 5th, and 6th best players.
Right.
It's the job of number 1, number 2 to actually drive you there. And the question is, can Anthony Davis and LeBron James deliver?
Well, listen, I'm not going to count out LeBron James ever. And I will not bet against him, even if he has slipped a little bit. But we just saw this guy break the scoring title, like the all-time scoring record, because he decided to do it. He scored 38 points. He's 38 years old. And he just said, you know what, tonight I'm going to score at least 36 points. And he did it. So,
Yeah,
I mean, but he also has a hurt foot that has been, hampering him
problem.
quite a bit. I mean, he subbed out at one point in the game the other night. And when he came back, he looked much slower, much stiffer. So, I think it's all about health of LeBron and Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis has not looked great to me the last couple weeks. He definitely did not look great or fully connected with what was happening on the basketball court during LeBron's historic moment. I think that this trade is great. It gives them some players, and man, they need them. But yeah, it's all about LeBron. It's all about AD. And when your number one option is 38 years old and your number two option is Anthony Davis, who spends as much time going to the locker room during a game as he does going to the free throw line, I think that you've got some serious questions. Now, you're telling me those two guys are going to be healthy the rest of the year. Anthony Davis, who was playing like a monster to start the season, if he can get back to that level, oh man, I think they could be a top 6 team, because those two guys are good enough to get you there in the regular season, especially when you look around the league. Zion's still out. Steph, we still don't know how long he's going to be out. I mean, I think that they've got a chance to gain some ground. Utah doesn't even want to really be in the play-in. It seems, they're kind of trading away some of their talented guys and more steady guys. So, passing Utah shouldn't be an issue. I think Oklahoma City is really feisty. I mean, we saw him, in that game. But now they're also fighting with the Timberwolves, who just, I think, got better, because Mike Conley is exactly the sort of point guard that you want playing next to Anthony Edwards. And, a lot of people are making jokes about his chemistry with Gobert and, oh, do you want to make a trade for a guy who plays well with Gobert? Well, yes. Why not? Conley, Gobert pick and rolls when Anthony Edwards isn't out there. That's going to be now a tool for the Timberwolves. And Chris Finch has shown himself to be a good enough basketball coach that he can put these guys in a position to succeed, if they can develop chemistry. So I think Conley, Gobert, it's worth it, man. He's going to be great as a spot up guy playing next to Anthony Edwards. So I think that the Lakers' path got harder because the Timberwolves got better. But they're going to make the play-in. I feel pretty confident that they're going to be in the play-in, but the playoffs are the question mark, and it's about health. Can AD be Anthony Davis?
Yeah. I don't know. I would bet no. If I were to wager.
It doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like it. He hasn't felt as forceful. The thing is, they're not done. They're not done. And that's the key component to this trade to me. My biggest takeaway wasn't what they got, which they did get good and useful players. I like D'Angelo Russell. I don't know that he's been much better than Russell Westbrook, but I think the fit in LA is much better than the Westbrook fit was. And Beasley slots right in. I mean, he should be playing major minutes right away. And Vanderbilt, again, the defensive lift there, but keeping that 2029 pick, not having to use Patrick Beverly or Lonnie Walker. And now they have those guys. They're going to be able to go out and potentially get another piece. I just don't know who it is. Is it going to be one of these Toronto guys?
If they can get another defensive piece, that's what I think they're missing. I mean, they're the 20th ranked defense, and I'm not sure they took a step in either direction. I think Vanderbilt plus Russell and Malik Beasley is more of a wash than it is anything else defensively.
Agreed.
And so I think they're going to stay about there. I think the offense is going to get a lot better. I think D'Angelo Russell is going to help because he can shoot. Malik Beasley is going to help because he can shoot. And LeBron has shown through the history of his career that all you got to do to play with LeBron James is space the floor and make shots. That's why Boobie Gibson had a career at all because of that. And so I think these guys are going to actually thrive next to LeBron in this setting. And then Vanderbilt's just going to do what he does off the bench. He can go small with him like this. He just provides some versatility, and I like that. Does it save the season? TBD. Let's talk about the Wolves, because the Wolves made a play for a veteran. They got a little bit more mature. I think Conley is an upgrade if he's healthy. But I just don't know that it's that meaningful of an upgrade, because I think what they really need, I think what that team really needs is a veteran that's willing to lead. And I'm just not sure that Conley fits that. He's a lead by example guy. That's been well documented. So I worry that he's not going to quite be what they need. Like Pat Bev, like him or not, made a huge impact on that Wolves team last year as a leader and as a worker. And Conley he's going to show up and do his job, but I'm just not sure that he's going to be the guy that gets this Wolves team on track.
Yeah,
But
it's almost a shame. It's almost a shame they couldn't have gotten, Pat Bev back in the deal. And maybe if he winds up somewhere and he gets bought out, maybe they start talking to him. This is one of the things I worried about when they lost Ricky Rubio, because essentially you had Ricky Rubio, who's the leader of that team, like the spiritual leader, the vibes guy, and you had Anthony Edwards, and he was learning how to do that from Rubio, a guy who had respect already. And I think that you cut that experiment a little bit too short, because Anthony Edwards was showing so much promise as a young leader, taking all those good cues from Ricky Rubio. Maybe Conley can come in, and that's the sort of leader he can be, where it's, hey, I'm going to take this guy under my wing, teach him how to do it by example. Maybe this is a thing where, he does help him out with his diet a little bit in a way that's maybe not as bad as what Karl Anthony Towns was trying to do. But things of that nature. So we'll see. I think Conley just as a player next to him, if he's healthy, it's an upgrade, because he's not going to make the boneheaded mistakes. He's going to be a little bit more solid on defense than D'Angelo Russell is. At least you're going to get effort and buy-in. That being said, I mean, I still think this is a team that it had home court advantage aspirations. This is not a team that's going to get there. They probably have another move to make. I think that they could use another guy. I'm not sure, if Danny Green winds up being available, I'd like to see their name in the mix for Danny Green.
Got to get a Danny Green mention in here.
Right.
Had to squeeze it in.
But you need someone to, you need a little bit more talent there. And like you mentioned, I mean, the veteran leadership, it turns out that stuff is important. Juan Toscano Anderson goes to Utah. He would have been a great addition to me in Minnesota. Slots right into the kind of vibes that I think they need to build. But I don't know. I'm curious to see how Conley does. I really think that that's going to unlock some stuff for them, because there is not going to be this battle at the end of games as to who has the ball. Anthony Edwards is going to be the closer, and they're going to sink or swim that way. And I think that they're going to swim more often than they sink.
Yeah, I like it for that reason alone, is that it steers the ship more toward Anthony Edwards. And that's the way it needs to be. So if it can continue to be like more support pieces around him, because Conley's like way more willing to be a secondary playmaker. He's way more willing to be a spot up guy than D'Lo was. And D'Lo's played well. Like, he's had a really nice stretch here. I think the Lakers are getting a good version of D'Angelo Russell. I like the direction the Wolves are taking this. I'm so curious. This is similar to the Lakers. Like, great. This is awesome. You get another piece there, but it's going to be all about Cat, Gobert, and Anthony Edwards. And can those three get on the same page? And if they can't, it doesn't matter if you got Mike Conley or whoever else. Like, it's about those three. And so what can those three do together? And it's a mixed bag.
I've watched a lot of Conley and Donovan Mitchell, especially right away. Conley made Donovan Mitchell a better player. He just did. And if he can have a similar effect, I know he's a little bit older, but if he can have a similar effect for Anthony Edwards, this deal is worth it. And they also got Nickeil Alexander-Walker and a bunch of seconds. That stuff doesn't really matter. Nickeil Alexander-Walker probably not going to play a lot of minutes for this team. It's the Mike Conley trade for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And, again, they've now made two, to me, pretty big trades. I mean, Conley, yes, he's older, but that's a good veteran. And you made that huge Gobert trade. They need to start seeing this translate on the court. And they need to see it this year. This is a team that needs to be in the top 6 to feel like they did anything. And I still think that that's a failure of a result for them compared to what their internal expectations should have been.
Yeah, they're slowly morphing into the Utah Jazz. Just slowly morphing.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty fast, actually. It's pretty quick.
And then the Jazz. They get Russell Westbrook, Juan Toscano Anderson, Damian Jones, and they get that the whole point of all of this for them was to get this 2027
one draft pick,
Lakers first round pick. And boy, that could be a valuable one. Like, who knows what the Lakers look like in 2027. I like getting that, adding that to your treasure trove of draft picks. That's wonderful. Now the question becomes, what do we do with Russell Westbrook? Russell Westbrook And Utah Jazz, not a good combination. If you've watched any of his interactions with the fans in Utah over the
Yeah.
years, was never going to be a thing. So now, where does he land? Rumors of the Clippers and Chicago Bulls. He's got ties to both franchises in different ways with the players and with Billy Donovan in Chicago. I would be shocked, floored, if he doesn't just stay in LA and go to the Clippers, who need somebody that can get to the hoop. And if Russ can do anything anymore, it's still get to the hoop. So I think that's, to me, that makes the most sense. But I can see by your facial expression and the air that's coming out of your mouth
It's
that maybe this is not it.
It's sad. It's honestly sad.
Yeah.
I have racked my brain all afternoon thinking of teams that could use Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
Who could use him? Thinking of not a contender, because none of the contenders could use him.
Yeah.
Maybe a playoff team. What playoff team could use Russell Westbrook? Whose team does he improve? I think he does more in Chicago than he does in LA for the Clippers. Does the fit there make any sense whatsoever? No. Because Russell Westbrook, wherever he goes, even as a buyout guy coming in on a veterans minimum contract, it's still Russell Westbrook. And things are going to go the Russ way, or, we've seen what happens. And
yeah,
if you're a team on the cusp of, making a run, and this is a year where you feel like we've got a good shot here, do you want to bring a guy in who is going to chafe at a 15-minute a night, 10-minute a night role that may mean 5 minutes in the playoffs or none? I don't think so. And then if you're Russell Westbrook, do you want to go play for, I don't know, Orlando or Houston, who I don't think Houston would do it, because he would actually improve Houston. I just don't know that there's any fit out there for Russ. So I wonder if he goes to a team at all this year. I'm not reporting this. I've done no reporting here. I've not asked anyone. This is only me thinking out loud about Russ and just the kind of guy he is. Maybe he sits it out until the summer and goes into free agency. I mean, certainly someone will pay him some money this summer. He's not totally done as a basketball player, but it is a different thing for him. I mean, I think a lot about what his career could look like if, as his skills and athleticism really started to wane, if he had taken on this sort of, I'm going to be Manu Ginobili for the rest of my career. I'm just going to go out there. I'm going to defend well. I'm going to do what I do on offense. I'm going to try to make players better. And I'm going to just go, and I'm just going to be this guy who's trying to win. Like, that's it. I'm going out there to win, not my way, but whatever way it takes to win. And I think that he could have done that. I mean, he's such a force. He's still an incredible athlete. He's amazing in transition. I mean, he's still, even in the game the other night where it wasn't his greatest game, he still had moments where he did stuff that was good. And I know that, look, man, you've probably loved Russell Westbrook since, they came to OKC. So it has to be difficult for a guy, like, you've watched his career more closely than I have. Yeah, and tell me, am I off here? Like, I'm not trying to guess like what his motivations are as a basketball player or as a person, but it just, to me, it doesn't feel like there's a fit for him that he would go into.
I will give him this. I did not think he would take a bench role, and he did all year with the Lakers. That showed me that Russ has the ability to fit in with the team a lot better than I thought. And he's even behind guys that are worse than him, So I think he's better than John Wall. I think he's better than Reggie Jackson. I think he's a better. Oh, don't do that.
Not for the Clippers, though. So again, it's fit. I think if you're the Clippers and you're thinking, we're bringing Russ in, is he going to be what they were trying to do with John Wall? I think Reggie Jackson is a better fit for the way that they play, where he's this release valve.
Reggie can still start. Reggie can still start. If you bring Russ in off the bench, they just have nobody that can drives to the hoop. Like, nobody. Like, their game exists like free throw line and up. Nobody can get in and finish it except for Zubats. Like, that's it.
Well, Russ can get in there. He just can't finish.
At least he can get there. Nobody else can get there. for them. I think that there will be some benefit there. However, I just don't, and this is where I do agree with you. I just don't think Russ can affect winning anymore. Like, I don't think as a player, I think he can come in, he can get stats, he can look good in transition at times, he can get to the hoop. Defensively, he's a liability. He's not who he thinks he is, but like asking him to take that away is asking him to not be Russ at all. Like, he can't be Manu. Manu was willing to come off the bench for forever and just be the best teammate ever. Westbrook got here because he is just all gas, no brakes. And when you ask him to put the brakes on, that's like asking him to just end his career.
Well, it's also when you find out that the brakes have been cut because he doesn't have brakes, man.
He's trying, man.
It's what makes him incredible, and it's the thing that makes me root for Russ because this has been sad to watch for me because he is a guy I've never had to complain that Russ isn't that he doesn't want to play. I've never said that about Russell Westbrook. I've never said he doesn't play hard. Even on defense, where there's been times where he's got a high offensive workload. He still is trying to make plays on defense. Now, I'm not saying he's not a lazy defender for large stretches of his career.
Yeah.
Still tries to make plays. This guy, if you've bought a ticket to see Russell Westbrook, he has done everything in his power to make sure you got your money's worth. I have a lot of respect for that just as a basketball guy. So this has been hard to watch, but I'm at a loss for where he should go that fits for Russ and for who he is, because it just feels like the Clippers, he's going to go in there. He's going to be another one of these old point guards. And look, man, he's already done the thing with Paul George.
Yep. We've seen that before. We've seen that before.
I don't know how that would
I don't think it works.
Man.
I don't think it'll work. I think that it makes sense I just don't know that the Clippers can get something done with another guard before the deadline. And if they can't, I think Russ will just stay in town. He'll be wearing a Clippers jersey. It'll be super weird. Let us know. Where do you think Russell Westbrook should go after he's bought out? Let us know. What do you think of the Lakers deal? And what do you think? Can Mike Conley help turn this around? Let us know in the comments. Make sure that you hit that like button here on YouTube. And make sure that you're subscribed to the Athletic NBA show here on YouTube and stay locked in to everything at The Athletic.